He writes a column in the Marina Times. He is a magnificent lover of movies, of television. If it streams, if you can play it on stage, he is a musicologist also. He really is the culture blaster, and that's what he calls himself across social media. For us, he comes and goes on a rainbow. How about it for Michael Snyder, everybody? Michael Snyder, the culture blaster. What about you, Michael?
Wow, I would say happy Friday, Mark, but my eyes are as glazed over as a dozen free glazed donuts from Krispy Kreme in honor of their anniversary. Oh, my God. Kim, I was just feeling the congestion in my chest hearing you deliver that news story.
It was. Yeah, that's a special. Krispy Kreme's. Here's the thing. It's easy to drive by, and it's easy not to start. But once you start, man, once you have one bite of those things, man, you can inhale a whole box.
Kim, how are you?
Yeah.
Well, Mark, I'm happy to see that you are on Threads. I thought that was
I am on
move.
Threads.
You
yes,
know,
sir.
have you heard the new rallying cry for people migrating from Twitter? Better thread than dread.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, man.
Yes, I'm very unhappy with everything I've heard today on
Less
your
and
show.
less. There's so much less disinformation there for the time being, but
Yeah.
you know, I guess we'll see.
You're on Threads, Michael?
I am.
Are you the culture blaster on Threads?
No, they wouldn't let me do that. I am Mike the Knife 123. Mike the Knife 123.
And I'm Mark Thompson TV. Yeah, they wouldn't. You have to take your Instagram handle over.
That's okay. That's okay.
All right.
We're talking about
You don't
this
seem bothered by it, so I won't.
minutia when in fact we're worried about the entire entertainment industry. Fran Drescher.
This is an inflection moment for real, right?
The nanny herself, president of the Screen Actors Guild, she was on fire. The Franny, if you will, was dead on in her speech. I'm really kind of worried about this as a writer who does film and television projects. This is a nightmarish attempt by the suits to crush the creatives and continue to treat them like, I don't know, feudal serfs in the fields of the entertainment industry. There's got to be a change because there's been such a massive change in the delivery of all this.
Sure. And again, this is the opportunity to make that change. It's going to be a big one because there's a big change in the business. But there'll have to be that big change.
I agree. I agree. Emmy nominations this week. Very exciting to see two shows that I adore get some love, even though I have nothing but disdain for award shows in the arts. I'm still going like, yeah, The Bear, right? Give The Bear all the love. Give Jury Duty, the little show that could on Amazon Freevee, some love.
Let me ask you a question
sure.
because you have all this love for your shows.
Yes, sir.
And you're right. Award shows are ridiculous. You cannot compare. I've said it a million times. You can't compare these things. You can't say, you'd have to, you can't compare pieces of art and creation, like creative things like this. But my question is on categories. The Bear was entered in comedy, wasn't it?
Right, and it is a dramedy, if you will. There are a lot of great and
it's
deep
really
moments.
more drama than comedy, wouldn't you agree?
I don't know what their thoughts are in regards to this, but I do appreciate that they made a little change. John Oliver had been running away with Variety Talk Show, and they created a specific scripted variety segment that they pushed him to that. It's basically all written out, whereas the talk shows like Colbert, Seth Meyers, and Jimmy Kimmel, and boy, I miss you guys. This Writers Guild strike has eviscerated my evenings, but they
eviscerated
do
a dingler.
Spontaneous stuff, so I'm glad about that. But yeah, it's gray area.
It's one of the problems with these award shows, and even the other you mentioned, Jury Duty.
Right.
It was mentioned. It's supposed to have all been. A lot of it's improv, and yet it goes down. It gets a writing nomination. I mean, again, I love the concept, and I really enjoyed the show. But I'm just saying that it's the idea of these award shows is flawed beyond the just overall flaw of comparing these things and awarding these things.
Yeah, well, seeing them get a little affection and attention does my heart good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's a promotion for shows that are good and deserve attention. Let's agree to that, and let's move on.
Sure. Right. We should talk about movies because
that is why you're here.
The giant elephant in the room that's actually a rather short leading man is
How
here
dare you
upon us.
insult Tom Cruise?
Hey, like the two recent blockbusters, Fast X and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 ends on a cliffhanger of sorts with much more story to go. Unlike those other movies, this one at least alerts you to the fact ahead of the time in the title. It's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Wow. So no surprises there. If there's any surprise here, it's how durable this formula continues to be when well executed, and maybe there may finally be a line on Tom Cruise's face after all these years.
I mean, it's amazing. He's 61 years old.
Yeah, you know.
I think. Check that, Albert, but I think that's right.
Google it.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, one thing is for certain, the still somewhat youthful Tom appears ever tinsel. He's Tinsel Tom, doing a shocking number of his own stunts, if I'm not mistaken. The movie, which is the 7th in this very successful and entertaining Mission Impossible film franchise, is highlighted by some of the most stunning action scenes in memory, many done in practical live-action fashion, in camera, by the fearless Cruise and his compatriots. So, Cruise has been playing Ethan Hunt, head of the IMF, which is, as you may or may not know, the super-secret Impossible Missions Force, in all 7 of the movies since the character was introduced in 1996's Mission Impossible, which was, by the way, inspired by the 60s espionage TV program of the same name, currently supported by trusted strategy and tech guys played by Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg, and a changing series of co-conspirators. Hunt is a master of disguise and a master of spycraft, aided by the IMF's wonderful toys. He's also tormented by losing people he cared about along the way, but that's not why you go see a Mission Impossible movie. No. You go because Cruise and company need to travel to a series of exotic locales to acquire some devastating weapon or some arcane piece of tech that in the wrong hands will destroy the world. You know, like, for instance, a dangerous artificial intelligence designed to replace screenwriters or actors. That scares me.
Yeah, there you go. It's staring right at us. Yeah.
Anyway, that'll lead to dizzying or jaw-dropping stunts, furious martial arts, and death-defying escapes on land, in the sky, and even under the sea. Yeah, there's a plot here that interrupts the thrills, and it features a villain with a long-time grudge against Hunt, although there's not much dramatic weight to that. Instead, it's all about the zip-bang-boom scenes with Cruise and recurring or new co-stars, who also include, this time out, Rebecca Ferguson, currently starring in the terrific Apple TV series Silo, Haley Atwell, Marvel's Agent Carter, Pom Clementif, best known as Marvel's superheroine Mantis, Vanessa Kirby, and S.A. Morales, and it's lightened by the occasional quip, look, here's something of note. Directors of various movies in the series have included A-listers John Woo, J.J. Abrams, Brad Bird, Brian De Palma, and most recently Christopher McQuarrie, and all have brought the goods. So McQuarrie is the director of record here, doing his third, let's call it cruise-controlled mission in a row, as well as co-writing this with Eric Jendrison. If it's not an all-time cinema classic, and it's not, it is 2 hours and 45 minutes of enough blocks being busted that it's going to rattle your brains in IMAX. Dude, if you ask me to choose whether I'd rather ride the Goliath or the Apocalypse at Six Flags, I'd prefer another viewing of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
Wow.
If only to rewatch a climactic fracas on top of a speeding train that trumps a similar scene from Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny by virtue of the astonishing way Cruise as Hunt gets into the situation. This movie is in theaters where it should be seen. Wow.
He likes the new Mission Impossible. I heard, and I don't know about what happens in this train sequence. Are you okay? Do you need something over there? You need more volume?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
Mark, by the way, you were correct on your earlier. I Googled. Tom Cruise is 61.
61. There you go. All right.
It's amazing.
He is amazing. I heard they rebuilt or built a train, an actual train, for them to do that stunt with. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I don't know what the stunt is, but apparently many have remarked on it. So
I don't want to spoil it. I didn't mention a lot of the other amazing things that they do on screen here. And again, this is not great cinema, but this is remember the Disneyland Double D ride or whatever, the high ticket at Disney.
Sure, right,
Oh
D
my
ride,
God.
yeah.
Oh my
It was
God.
D ticket or whatever,
Yeah.
E-ticket, I think.
E-ticket,
Yeah.
D-ticket. That's what this is, and when you're sitting in your seat in the theater, you are immersed in this craziness on screen. I guess if they actually wrote great scripts to these movies, there would be no stopping them. But as it stands, these are... Anyway, time to change it up a little bit.
Yeah,
by
change it up.
I want to review a movie made for a considerably lower budget than the zillion-dollar cost of a Mission Impossible, making the lean and likable indie ensemble comedy Theater Camp probably cost as much as, I don't know, the lifts in Tom Cruise's shoes.
Wow, again, two cracks about how Tom Cruise is kind of on the short
I'm not
side.
a tall man. I'm 5'9.5".
Right,
Come on.
so yeah.
Yeah. I feel a certain
You have to say and a
brotherhood
half,
with him.
then you really know you're not.
Yeah, I know. I'm fudging a little bit. So some of us have been to summer camp. Many of us have been to the theater or watched a musical on stage or screen, and there are those among us who have even watched the Emmy Awards. Whether you have or haven't done any of the above, there's plenty to make you laugh in Theater Camp, which concerns the doings at a ramshackle but beloved upstate New York summer camp for aspiring young performers. So summer sees the return to camp of Amos and Rebecca Diane, two BFFs and drama teachers played by Ben Platt, and he's the guy who originated the title role in the Broadway hit Dear Evan Hansen, and Molly Gordon, currently breaking hearts. She's broken my heart as a supporting player in the cast of The Bear. The longtime owner and operator of the camp is out of commission, leaving the place in the hands of her dim-witted son, who kind of fancies himself as an expert businessman. Spoiler alert, he is not. Meanwhile, long-suffering camp production manager Glenn, played by another Broadway star, Noah Galvin, secretly longs for the spotlight. And as the camp faces foreclosure, the dedicated staff and the campers are going to need to bond together and put on a big end-of-season show that will somehow save the day. Led by Platt, Gordon, and Galvin, the cast members hit their marks with style and panache or goofy charm. There are comedy veterans Amy Sedaris and Caroline Aaron, and up-and-comers including recent Emmy nominee Ayo Edebiri from The Bear, Patty Harrison and Jimmy Tatro, and a bunch of kids that kind of embody that mini showbiz wannabe thing. They're out there. They crave the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? And there are a handful of witty and catchy original songs written for the movie, especially a climactic number that I thought really pops. So Theater Camp was co-directed by Gordon and Nick Lieberman, who also collaborated on the script with Platt and Galvin. I would wager all of them were, at one time, theater kids who dreamed of the lives that they're leading today, because their love of performing and their affection for the gaggle of striving campers is evident throughout the funny and winsome Theater Camp. It's in theaters.
Panache and winsome, I think, is a ding word. Okay.
Winsome, loosome.
Okay. What else you have?
What else do I have? I have something else which I had so much, enthusiasm for going in, bursting with masterpiece theater vibes and boasting award-winning actresses in significant roles and solid support from the rest of the actors involved. The Miracle Club is an inoffensive trifle of a period dramedy that too often relies on kind of eye-rolling cliches and pandering moments of sentiment. It's set in a Dublin,
Trifle
Ireland.
and pandering.
Really? It's set in a Dublin, Ireland community during 1967, and it involves three local women, Lily, Eileen, and Dolly, who are striving to win a pilgrimage to Lourdes, France, which, of course, is noted for its sacred healing waters. Lily, played by Maggie Smith, and Eileen, played by Kathy Bates, are both facing medical issues, and Dolly, played by Agnes O'Casey, is desperate to get her mute son to speak. So they all believe Lourdes is the answer to their prayers, so to speak. But they don't reckon with the arrival of one-time friend Chrissy, who has returned to Ireland for her mother's funeral after decades in America. Lily and Eileen have long felt that the very stylish Chrissy abandoned her mother and their community, so the resentments come to a head as Chrissy takes her mother's place on the trip to Lourdes. Did I mention that Chrissy is played by Laura Linney? I mean, that's right. Maggie Smith, Kathy Bates, and Laura Linney.
How can this not be a great movie?
All director Thaddeus O'Sullivan had to do was to tell the ladies, action.
Exactly.
And stand back. but the script is creaky and gets treacly. All right, the star.
I don't even know what treacly is.
You know
but it
what
doesn't
treacle
sound
is?
good.
It's that gooey. It's the treacle. It's kind of.
I will ding it because I did not even know what the word.
Goo. It's goo.
Okay, it's gooey.
The script is creaky. The star power here, though, is unassailable. As much as I admire and enjoy seeing Smith, Bates, and Linney in any project they do, it would take a miracle to make me watch The Miracle once more. It is in theaters.
Citizen Swain says it's terrible. Wow. And I guess
she slept along with me.
Was that I was wondering how she saw it. She went with you. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. You both agree it was bad.
Heather, I heard Heather's eyes rolling, actually, next to me in the theater.
Leave us with one more, if you would, please, Michael Snyder.
Throughout his career to date, German filmmaker Christian Petzold has specialized in very dark and provocative movies. I'm really fond of one recent Petzold offering, Transit, which is a 2018 alternate history drama about a modern-day German political refugee trying to escape fascism, leaving occupied Paris and getting stuck in Marseille, where he falls in love with the wrong woman. So Petzold's latest, A Fire, might be his best so far. In A Fire, two friends, Leon and Felix, are on a summer getaway to the seaside vacation home that belongs to Felix's family. Uptight Leon, played by Thomas Schubert, is a writer who wants to use the time away to finish his latest novel, while the free spirit, he's a free spirit, this guy, Felix. Langston Oibel is the actor. He's a photographer trying to assemble a portfolio, but their plans are upended when they discover a young woman named Nadja is unexpectedly living at the house for the summer season. Nadja is played by Petzold favorite Paula Beer, star of his previous movie, Undine, which is this weird myth-heavy romance. As noted in my eulogies for Anchor Brewing online, I do love beer. And I also love beer. This girl, Beer, is something else. Anyway, a good-looking lifeguard enters the picture, as does Leon's editor, and all the while, a forest fire creeps closer and closer to the nearby town and Felix's family house in the woods. But that fire is nothing next to the psychological, conflagration that Nadja inspires in Leon, or the tension that develops between Leon and Felix. Petzold really excels at depicting really difficult relationships and the accompanying tensions that can spring up between people, and A Fire is positively blazing in that regard. Highly recommended in theaters. Yes, it's in German and a few other random languages with English subtitles.
Oh.
A Fire.
Randy asks, has Michael Snyder given a recent review of the movie Sound of Freedom? Just curious what his take on this movie was or is.
The QAnon movie that features Jim Caviezel,
is that what it is?
Right-wing apologist,
is it? Is
that roped in Mia Sorvino to play a small role. Is that the movie?
Is that what it is?
You cannot say you love
your
country.
It's all about child trafficking, but they never
Seriously, is Randy, are you accused her? I didn't know that.
No, they showed me the, I showed them my liberal bona fides, and they said, you can't come to this movie. You can't come to this film.
Sound of Freedom. I haven't.
No, it's a major under the radar success, playing to the far right, and
they're screening it at the Trump rallies and whatnot. At Mar-a-Lago, they're having a screening.
Wow!
At Bedminster, that's what
it's the lefties are child sex traffickers. Is that essentially the theme?
I haven't seen it because they didn't show it to me. Like I said, they saw my voting record and said, "You can't come to this film."
I see. Too bad. It's being sold as a conservative thriller. Sorry, Randy. You can review it for maybe Randy will do a review. Send me the email and I'll let's review Michael Snyder's reviews that encompass more mainstream fare. We'll start with A Fire. You kind of liked it.
I did. I thought it was really well made, and again, it's in a foreign language. Scaredy cats, but I think it's really worth it.
Yeah, go for it. German but with subtitles. The Miracle Club, chock full of talent. Oscar-winning and Oscar-nominated talent. It misses. Sadly, that talent doesn't have a script on which to rest their great performances.
Not worth their skill set, no.
Yeah, wow. Sad, but Michael says no.
No.
Exactly. Theater Camp. He liked it.
I really enjoyed watching that movie.
He enjoyed it. He really liked Theater Camp. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Part 1. He really liked it. He said, look, it's not the greatest movie ever or anything, but it's for what it is, a thrill ride and an adventure. It hits it hard.
It both rocks and rolls.
Wow, I love it. So Mission Impossible, but you say see it in the theater, that's where it belongs, and that's where you belong seeing it, right?
I'd say so.
Did you really just do that?
I did.
I did too.
Michael, your latest columns in the Marina Times. Anything you want to relate to us?
Big thing on Indiana Jones and the Indiana Jones franchise. All these, by the way, are available at marinatimes.com. And my my Coastal Commuter column is all about tastes and food items that bring back memories that are rich and resonant. And I focused a little on these delicious wafers known as pizzelles, these anise-flavored waffle cookies that brought back memories of San Francisco in the 80s. And, oh, my God.
Well, Michael, I wish we had more time to listen to you, but we have to move on. I will tell you that Michael can be seen in the Marina Times, and he can be heard here. Strike or not, there is still product being released. Am I right, Michael Snyder?
Until it's all gone. That's absolutely right.
He comes and goes on a rainbow. Bye-bye, Michael.
The Giants are back, everybody. Go Giants.
The Giants are back.
The Mark Thompson Show.